eating healthier. Like I think I eat well, right?
Yeah.
I do think I eat well, but I'm carb heavy, no doubt about it. And so I've been trying to eat better, and that all links into this whole weighing in every day, which is a nightmare, which is all part of this, like women measuring themselves and having real measures and feeling like authentic. Oh, I'm doing that like super cool rock and roll girl where I've got it like off one ear. I don't know, like
real
woo.
DJ.
I am super real DJ. I'm going to put it back on my ear because I think it's annoying. I felt like super cool, obviously. But anyhow, so I was preparing something the other day, and it reminded me of a story that in the kind of my early days of diving into clean beauty. So I've always been a beauty junkie, always since, I remember being, I want to say like 13, whatever. And my mother was like a complete tomboy. So I was dragging her to beauty counters, and bless her little cotton socks. She was there for me. She let me sit in those chairs and get my makeup done. Like, God bless her. But man, I would do it. And I wasn't even thinking about ingredients, right?
Right.
Not even a little bit. I just wanted to look awesome and understand it and learn about it. And, as I grew up in this business and in luxury and in fashion and all those things, as I came into this whole idea of clean beauty, I remember this one story, and it sparked for me just the other day because I was sitting in the kitchen and I was grumping that I had no carb macros left in my world, and I had to do something that was really carb macro light, which if you guys don't know about macros and eating macros, just run the other way when somebody tells you to do it. Like, I shouldn't say that, actually. I kind of love it. It's like food Tetris. But
That sounds horrible.
It is kind of horrible. But hey, if it gets me, if my COVID fluff comes off, I'll be happy. So anyhow, here I am looking for my carb happy meal or carb light meal. And I decide to make a salad with my chicken. Long story short, I grabbed a tomato to put on my salad. And it reminded me of the brand Indy Lee, because it was either her or her VP of Clean, they like to call her, told a story about if you had a tomato sitting on your counter that had been sitting there for a year and looked exactly the same, would you want to eat it?
No, you would. No.
Not even a little bit. And think about all the things on Instagram and on like Facebook and whatever, where people have found like an old burger, an old Twinkie.
Yeah.
And they kind of look the same, and you wouldn't want to eat it even though it looks the same. Although I've seen a few where they do eat it and it's a little sketchy. But so I was looking at that tomato because my tomato was a little wrinkly because I probably bought it over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I leave them on the counter because you're not supposed to put tomatoes in the fridge.
Nope.
And so it was sitting there, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, this is still pretty good. And I sniffed it, and I felt it, and I cut it up, and I was like, okay, it's good. It's just like overripe, right? Okay, fine. So it made me think of this whole idea of clean beauty and beauty, this whole bit of momentum behind clean beauty. And what's super funny to me is that now people can be judged because you're not using clean beauty. Yeah. Or are you using beauty that's clean enough? Or are you using all natural? Like, oh my gosh, there's so many tags to it.
And it has become very like cliquey in that way too.
Super judgy.
Like when, you're talking to whoever, you're talking to your friend, and they're like, oh, you still use like that drugstore brand? And it's like, okay. Yeah. Like, the average person can really only do so much to like switch over their routine to something cleaner or cruelty free. Like, it takes time and it's expensive.
It's super expensive to make the switch. I mean, people can argue that it's expensive not to.
True.
Certainly. And a good friend of mine was going through trying to get pregnant, and she switched over to clean skincare and makeup. And because she didn't want the hormone disruptors. Yeah. So let's talk about that today. Let's talk about what clean actually means, because I think I've listened to podcasts where they're like clean beauty this or clean beauty that. And I don't think people realize that there are different standards for clean, that there is no one standard for clean. It is not an FDA ruling. It is not, it is self-regulaed. Yes, 100% self-regulated.
Completely. And when it first started, it was obviously like brands that actually had good intentions. But now like there's such a thing, like, because it is completely self-policed. Nobody gets to like actually decide what it is. And also a lot of like ingredients don't even necessarily have to be listed on like packages. So you don't actually know what you're getting. So you really have to like research, and I don't know. I feel like that stings because a lot of people just want to be able to read it and go out the door and like.
But do they even
ignore it?
I don't read 100%. I mean, I do now because I'm actually looking for things for other people.
Yes.
But in my normal life, my real life, and my lazy life, whatever it is. I mean, it's kind of like when you see your fitness instructor eating McDonald's, right? It's that same thing. So it doesn't
apply to you,
right? Or I am the last person to read an ingredient list. So I do rely heavily on transparency and honesty,
right?
Which isn't necessarily out there.
No. And I think that's why there's different apps that have been developed that help people with that. So there's an app called Think Dirty. And basically all you have to do is scan a barcode and it tells you these are the ingredients that could be harmful or that are known carcinogens, or this brand has been known to like contain asbestos. And then it'll also have like another list that it's like, oh, these are all the really cool ingredients that are actually good for you. And it'll rate it. I think it's like from 1 to 10, about like 1 being like, oh, don't use this, it's probably not good for you. And 10 being like, oh yeah, this is like a stellar like product. This is actually gonna be a little bit better for you, at least ingredients wise. So that makes it really easy for people who don't want to have to read ingredient lists or understand. Because what's scary too is like hyaluronic acid can be listed under like 10 different names.
Yeah, I know.
And so and even like as an esthetician, I've been trained and stuff like that. And the other day a client came in and was asking for an eye cream with hyaluronic acid. And I picked one up being like, oh, this has it in there. And then she was like reading the ingredients list and she was like, I don't see it on here. So even I had to then be like, oh, well, shoot, let me double check. Like, let me go on the, the brand's website and just make sure, because I thought it was in there. And then I had to go and Google other names for hyaluronic acid to make sure that I was actually right.
Yeah. And that is the tricky thing, because I think everyone's so ingredient focused. And I think, listen, there are people who really do need to know, like, they're allergic to sunflower.
Yes.
That's a big thing in clean beauty, sunflower oil. And some people have an allergy to that. There are elements, right, that if you are that person and going to go into anaphylactic shock, or you are, gluten intolerant, and you're going to have some sort of reaction in that sense, like true medical issues, then yes, of course, you need to be reading the ingredient list. And I think those people know they can't rely on just a cursory look.
Yes.
They need to do some digging. But for the average shopper, I think that's, most of us fall into the average shopper. We want to do better. I'd like to be better about recycling. To be honest, if composting were easier, I'd do it. But I would have raccoons in my backyard, and I don't want to go out at night to compost, and I don't want to be keeping like food. Like, I'm lazy that way, and I would like to be doing it, but I don't. And I do my best to recycle. But you know what? Does a can make it into my trash occasionally? Yeah. Am I really great about getting the labels off? Not so much. So when it comes to cosmetics, I want a curation of things that feel better, that I know are better. And then there would be derivations of that, right? So it can be from super clean, responsibly sourced, ethically balanced. So that would be what the Credo standard has the ethics and the, it has every aspect kind of covered, right?
Yes. But to a certain point on that, yes, they have a dirty list, that's what they call it. And those are their ingredients that they will not carry. I shouldn't say will not carry, but they try not to carry brands that have those ingredients in them. Because I don't really know if there is, I'm assuming there is a cutoff for them. I'm not sure. But on that list is mica. So mica is linked to really harmful practices, like child slavery. It's also been linked to sexual assaults as well, just of how the their workers are treated, like when they're mining
like
it.
in the mines, yeah. Kind of like
Palm oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But there's brands like Aether Beauty. They make sure all of their mica is like sustainably sourced and that it's like safe.
Right.
So I think there is like, and it goes back to researching, I think. And I know that's a pain because it's like, we just want something so quick and easy and you don't have to think about it, but you really do. Like, I wish it was a simpler way to go about it.
But that's the whole self-policing of green. And that's the thing that I think clients are finding confusing. And I think it's what leads people down kind of a bad path because essential oils are essential oils, but a lot of them are caustic on your skin. It's that whole thing we see all the time. Someone's gone and bought vitamin C from the drugstore. They're putting it on their face and then they wonder why their skin is sensitive.
Or, well, they put that on their skin and then they say, well, I have sensitive skin because I couldn't use that. No, you couldn't use something that wasn't like actually designed by a chemist for you to put on your face.
Right.
No one should be putting straight vitamin C on their skin unless it's like prescribed by your dermatologist.
Right.
Like,
yeah, like take a step back for a second. Because there's
so much, well, I'll also probably have to talk about this in another podcast. There's so much that goes into stuff like that.
Yes.
Like vitamin C, for example, it's not like shelf stable unless it's in like it can't be in a clear bottle. Otherwise it starts to go bad. And obviously you're going to put bad ingredients and like product on your face. And that's why you have sensitive skin. So you don't actually have sensitive skin. You think you have sensitive skin because you're giving yourself reactions to things you shouldn't use.
Right. So, and vitamin C is a preservative. So I know there are vitamin C's.
Yeah.
I had a friend who used to make truffles and chocolate.
Ooh.
Fun friend to have. And one of the things that she would put in the chocolate is powdered vitamin C because it acts as a preservative, but it's still a natural thing. So I do know vitamin C. So probably and I don't know this, someone out there can probably inform me of this, but there's probably food grade.
Yes.
And then there's probably skin, like what's safe for your skin, what's safe for you to ingest, what's safe, right? And safe is going to be different depending on its use.
Right.
So I think I get frustrated because I don't want to think that hard. Already I'm doing this damn macros thing and I have to scan stuff
and enter in everything that goes in your mouth.
I know. And so that's infuriating. So I don't really feel like doing that with the thing that brings me, like sparks joy for me, which is playing with makeup and lipstick and everything else. But the flip side is I have been on the other side of that equation and I've had stores damage out product because they found out there was a toxic ingredient in it. And so instead of we just thought, hey, we're damaging this product out. But when you went in the back and you saw like, okay, these damages go in this damaged because dangerous, and these are going in damaged out because it's discontinued. It's like discontinued versus toxic.
Yeah.
And that was crazy to me that that brand. So yeah, a little bit of lead is not going to kill you, but if you're putting lead in my lipstick and I'm putting that lipstick on every day and and I know a lot of women who wear the same lipstick every day, especially older women. Yeah. Especially older women of a certain generation, they will put on the same lipstick every day. They will hunt down that lipstick if it's discontinued.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's going on your, like, what is it? Like 2 pounds or something? You eat 2 pounds of lipstick a year or something nuts?
And I was just reading like some statistic that about 60% of the lipsticks on market still have lead in them.
It's kind of crazy. And the thing is, like a little bit, okay, so whatever. It's like it's like the 5-second rule. In our house, we have the 5-second rule where if it falls on the ground, like it's okay. It's fine, whatever. It's just a little protein. Or roughage, whatever you want to call it. But there is something to be said about, if it's every day, right? I'm not eating off the floor. I had one French fry off the floor.
Right.
French fries aren't part of my macros, by the way.
They don't.
Well, I could count them. I take that back. I could count them, but Michelle, you're not listening. So, if I were doing it every day, right, it would be different. But a lot of us aren't doing it every day. But that's where this whole like skincare. You do your skincare every day. You do these things every day, and this clean washing that's happening is self-policed. And I think people have to understand that and cut themselves a break.
Yes.
I think if you're trying to make better choices, that's better. And recognize if you are picking something up for $5 that says it's clean.
It's probably not clean.
There's probably something to question there, because just like food, I one of the examples I use all the time is that you can't, like, it's like the farm to table was 10 years ago, right? So people were like, well, why is that tomato $5? This heirloom tomato is so expensive. Why is it so expensive? Because it was grown the way it was supposed to be grown. It wasn't grown in a lab, right?
Right.
So there is something, if you want a real ruby that wasn't lab grown, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more than the ruby that was grown in the lab. So it goes the same for cosmetics, I think. We have to just be a little kinder to ourselves and realize, like, if you can only afford the $5 item, then yes, that option of buying the one that is being promoted as cleaner is a better option. But if you can, step up and think about the fact that you're going to have to pay a little bit more for those cleaner ingredients, because they're going to be transparent.
Yes.
And that transparency is going to translate into the ingredients you want to see.
Well, yeah. And most likely too, like, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money to get a product that works, or I guess like works in the way that it's like designed to work. Because I've done it myself too. I have girlfriends who will just like go out and they're like, oh, I saw this cleanser at TJ Maxx, and I know I have really red skin, and I know aloe is really good for red skin. So I just bought it and I'm going to use it. And it's like, okay, but you could have taken that $15 you spent on that cleanser at TJ Maxx and put that money towards like an Indie Lee cleanser, or towards any cleaner
brand.
Yeah. And it would have worked for you, most likely. I shouldn't say like always, but chances are like that aloe vera cleanser from TJ Maxx didn't work for you because it's not like a real product.
It's also probably aged.
Oh yeah.
So, that's the other kind of thing. Those stores are buying their merchandise from other places. They're not buying it direct from the brand themselves.
It's expired. It's been sitting in boxes for years.
Or maybe even not that long, but it's on the edge of its shelf life, right? So you're not going to get it for as long as maybe.
Or even in like some instances, you might think that you found some like name brand thing at TJ Maxx, and it's not really name brand. It's like an imposter.
Yes.
So it's like you think you're buying like this really cool oil. It's not really the oil you think it is.
So as an esthetician, what would you say would be the most bang for your buck in your skincare? Like, would you choose your wash, your serum, your moisturizer? Like, which thing would you throw the most money down on?
I think it depends, obviously, on your skin type. But for myself, I guess... Oh, this is hard.
Yeah, right? Because if you could only pick one thing to really put your money behind, right?
I think I would say like a good moisturizer. I think that's like the most important thing, because like and I should say this, a moisturizer that has like hyaluronic acid, or I don't know. That's really hard.
It is hard, but I would say moisturizer only because it sits on your face the longest.
Yes.
You're washing off your cleanser.
Yes.
So even if it had, I don't know, some horrible toxic chemical in it, it's not staying on your skin.
Correct.
So a serum, probably because it penetrates the deepest from, in theory, would be the one you'd want to focus on the most, right? Because it's going to go the deepest.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to sit on your skin.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe.
But
right?
I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for this question. But also like a serum, I don't feel like is for most people, because a lot of times people like moisturizers and they like creams because of the feeling it gives your skin.
Yes.
Like it doesn't necessarily hydrate your skin more than a serum, but it feels nicer going on. So it gives you that like sensation of, oh, like your skin just had a drink of water.
Right.
So, and that's like a big thing, is like it's sensation over actual...
Which
like
is why,
properties,
again,
I guess.
Back to clean. I think the challenge for people have been, a texture and a feel. And that is the one thing, using synthetics and fillers, you can get these amazing feelings, right?
Yes.
And just because it's something that maybe, I know like Credo, I don't know if the Sephora Clean Standard includes this, we could look this up. But dimethicone, you know, has kind of a bad name, and there's all sorts of hoopla around dimethicone, because dimethicone gives you that amazing feeling on your skin. It minimizes your pores. In anything that's like a blur or a smudge or something that's going to, like, you know, make your, like, I don't want to say wrinkles go away, but it's like claiming to blur your skin.
Like a filter.
Like a filter. Anything like that generally has some form of silicone, because it's going to fill in the creases, right? It's going to settle into those spots. So it gives you that smoother thing. And there's nothing wrong with dimethicone. It's 100% human safe. The problem is it creates a barricade for your skin. So now you have a barricade on your skin, which again is fine, but it can suffocate your skin if you don't cleanse it properly and get it off. So it's like, should dimethicone be banned? I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But knowing that is an important fact, right? Like understanding, like, hey, I might want to choose because I'm doing a photo shoot today, so I want, you know, my skin to look flawless.
Perfect. Or it's like your wedding day.
Whatever it is, you want that, because I know some of the clean beauty primers are really lovely too. And a lot of the bases of those are things like aloe. Yeah. Things like that to give it the slip, but it's not going to do that. Like,
it will not perform the same way.
It won't.
And I think that's important for people to remember too, is that clean beauty is not the traditional beauty that we've been used to. Right. So you might switch over to like a cleaner foundation, and there are definitely brands that have like the same, that are clean, that like compared to like MAC or like some, like a, you know, like a brand that's known for like full coverage foundation, but it's most likely like not going to happen. Right. So I think that's also a thing, is like, you just need to be realistic about what green and cleaner brands can actually give you. Right. And because if you're
build,
because if you're trying to switch over, I think from like a heavy full coverage foundation and go to like a brand like Amelia, you're not going to get the same finish, and you're gonna hate it. And not because it's like a bad product, but because you have unrealistic expectations of what that clean product can be.
Right. Listen, if I was gonna go and do a full face of drag makeup, I'm not gonna grab Amelia.
No.
It's not gonna happen. No. But the flip side of that is, how many of us are doing that? Right. I mean, realistically. Right. That's not what our day looks like. That's not what we're doing with our day. And so having that expectation is important, because what we see on Instagram, and I really do feel like we should just do an entire podcast on Instagram versus reality, but clean beauty is really about letting your light shine in whatever derivation that is, giving you the tools for a healthier skin, and it's not going to fight your skin. So I do love Ilia and RMS and actually Ritual de Fille. They all have amazing, and there are others, Cager Weiss and Kosas, and there are a lot of brands that are doing really great stuff in the clean beauty world, because they are giving you skincare level ingredients in your makeup, which is fantastic. Yes. But it's going to cost more. Yeah. It's going to cost more than drugstores, I should say. But it's going to cost less than La Mer. Right. It's going to cost less than, you know, Givenchy or, you know, Chanel. And you're going to get a higher quality ingredient that you're going to feel better about. But this clean thing is, I think, something needs to be demystified in some way. And I think the judgment around it for ourselves and others needs to go away, because, you know, we see all the time clients who come in and are using stuff that's an essential oil, or they're mixing and matching their own stuff. And yes, it's natural, but, you know, arsenic is natural too.
Well, I was just going to say that a lot of
it's not good for you.
A lot of people say that too. They're like, well, I don't want chemicals. Everything is a chemical. Right. Literally everything is made out of chemicals. So I never understand when people say that, because it's like, chemicals aren't bad. Just like certain synthetic ingredients aren't bad either. So like, not everything has to be natural. That's why I feel like I don't want to say that like the term like clean beauty doesn't matter, but like it almost doesn't matter.
The ingredients matter.
Yeah.
And I think clean is a misnomer because there are derivations of clean. And what does clean mean to you?
Right.
So do you want to remove, like, I don't want to have arsenic in my food.
Yeah.
I also don't want lead in my, like, I feel like I could, lead, I can get around lead. But if it's, carmine, which is derived from a bug, right? They grind up the beetle to get that beautiful red color. Okay, so am I going to get okay, so that's not necessarily vegan, but it's certainly better than a lead-based red that I'm going to put on my lips.
Of course, and I feel like certain people would argue too, I'd rather have that than some sort of synthetic chemical going into color, my lipstick or my blush color. Like, I'd rather know that it comes from something natural. Like, same with beeswax. Like, a lot of brands say that they're vegan friendly now because certain vegans won't use beeswax. Or honey. Yeah. So I don't know. I think you're right in saying that it is what clean beauty is, what it means to you. Like, it's something that you define for yourself. And whatever your boundaries are your boundaries.
Exactly.
But you can't just assume that every brand is going to follow it because there is no actual
definition. And even
definition.
the certifications, like people come in or I know I see all the time like, oh, we're this certified or that certified. And there are like different ways to certify for cruelty-free.
Like the Leaping Bunny.
The Leaping Bunny. But then there's also, there's another one for cruelty-free. Then there's also the EU standards.
Yep.
There's also the like all natural movement, which is like truly just oils and mixtures like that. I mean, you can go down this rabbit hole that I think is, if you have the time, wonderful.
Right.
Like if you have the time to do that research, but please don't be your own chemist. Right. And again, our first podcast, we talked about like, stop measuring yourself.
Yeah.
Like, let's not make this new beauty standard our new point of judgment or new point of being mean girls.
Yeah.
Because I think that is happening in the industry with clean beauty. You have this element of people who are sitting on one side saying, I use clean beauty, I'm this person, and they feel very smug. And then you have the whole other side where they're doing these unbelievable, beautiful, like, super glam, Insta-worthy beauty. And you can really only do that for a photo and in that moment. But it is really gorgeous. But it's very hard to get, some of this stuff to perform that way. And if that's how people want to play with their makeup, it's a totally different thing. But this judgment that's happening in the middle is where you start to lose me.
Yeah.
Because I just think we have to make room for everybody. And if we can all then elevate our standards, right? So that we are forcing these companies. And I do know that's happening. I do know that the cosmetic manufacturers are looking at Sephora's lists, Credo's list, which are very different, and saying like, what level of clean do you want your cosmetics to be when they are like, so if I wanted to make a cream, I could go to one of these cosmetic manufacturers and say, I want to make, a serum and a moisturizer.
Yeah. And they're going to say, do you want Credo clean or do you want
Sephora clean or do you care at all?
Yeah.
The good news is if it's one of those, you can then make sure that like, if your target is to get into places like Credo, then you can get in.
Right.
But there are going to be a lot of people who don't care.
Well, right. And those people that don't necessarily want to get into Credo or get into Sephora, but still want to have like a cream that they can market towards like cleaner beauty, they're just going to greenwash it.
Yeah.
And so like what I find interesting too is anyone can put like a little picture of a bunny on their product.
Yes.
And
There's
say we're
no
cruelty
rule
free.
about it.
There's no rule about it. There's nothing that polices that either.
No.
So that's what I find interesting because when you go anywhere and you go to the pharmacy, like they'll just put pictures of like flowers on their bottles.
Oh, right. I know. Say like, natural.
Oh, I love the planet.
Yeah.
But it's not actually cruelty free. It's not like,
no,
they don't have any sort of like certification, which isn't everything because especially when it's like a European brand, they don't necessarily like, that's not even on their radar anymore.
Correct.
Because they just are all cruelty free. Well, for the most part, I should say.
Well, for the most part. I mean, that's not true. I mean, the big ones, L'Oreal and Estee Lauder, are trying to move directionally that way. But then that gets into that whole other conversation about ingredients have been tested for years, decades. So just because it's like at some point in its history, it was tested probably on a bunny.
Yeah.
So we know that ingredient X is safe.
Right.
So the testing is actually happening on that actual product. So I can claim in my fictitious world of my fictitious cream that my fictitious cream is clean because I used ingredients that I was told have already been tested.
Or because you hired a third-party lab and
they put it
you don't have to test on anything. So you can say, I'm cruelty-free, I don't test on animals. I just maybe pay this other lab to do it for me.
So my cream is not tested on animals, but all the ingredients that are in it have been tested on animals one step prior.
Yes.
So that happens too. So everyone has to kind of dial it down on this generic criticism or hype about what is clean and just get educated about it, right? So this is a great, I think, time to insert our title sponsor. So we have a lovely title sponsor, London Beauty. They are on Main Street, Brighton, and they are also online at londonbeautyonline.com. They focus on clean and non-toxic and cruelty-free cosmetics, but removing some of this judgment, which is great, which is why we're talking about it. They can be shopped online, in store. We know a lot about it because, well, we're there every day. So that's that. And we are the Beauty Underground, and we like to talk about all these things that come up in the beauty world that no one likes to talk about, or everyone has these massive points of view about, and we just want to have a conversation and maybe get educated. So feel free always to leave us comments.
Yeah.
Send us information.
Our DMs are always open. You can always send us an email too. We respond to those. We both get those.
Yeah, and that's on London Beauty Online, both on Instagram, Facebook, and on the website. There's a contact us. So we are always open to hearing and listening. And one of the curation standards that we also hold, ironically, is also a visual standard.
Yes.
So just because a brand is awesome, if it doesn't look awesome,
you're not going to really want to use it.
Well, it's part of the experience, right? You want to feel special. I know that price is part of it, certainly, but I do like a beautiful bottle. I do like something that looks like a jewel.
Yeah. Well, and when dinner parties were a thing, when you pull out your lipstick to touch it up, you don't want to pull out like a rinky-dink, like little chapstick.
Oh my God, one of the trends that drove me crazy for a while were cardboard tubes. Do you remember cardboard tubes?
Yeah, I'd crush them instantly in my purse.
Or they'd get really gungy and they'd look awful.
Yeah.
And nothing is more beautiful than some of those really glamorous, like, obviously, Chanel is really well known, but even Cager Weiss has gorgeous refillable, and they're clean.
Madame Gabriella's.
Madame Gabriella has a beautiful one, and she's a new lipstick person, and she makes her stuff with that Manuka honey,
which
and
is
it's
so
creamy and lovely. And I forgot about her, and she has the detail, kind of like Chanel. It has like an intaglia on top, and it's a separate piece, so it really looks luxurious. And I think it's very well thought out for clean. Same with Cager Weiss.
Yeah.
And then you obviously have the iconic, the Tom Fords and the Serge Lutens and all those. Like those brands have these like stunning bits of packaging, and even if they're not clean, you feel really sexy pulling it out. So there is something to be said for that. So there are clean choices that give you that same sexy feeling vibe. And so that is a standard that I like to hold for myself. Even I want things that feel beautiful on my skin, but also look beautiful in my world, because if I'm going to leave them sitting out, I don't know, maybe it's the 20s glamour puss in me that feels like I want I've never had a vanity. Do you have a vanity?
I have a vanity. My mom redid this vanity. I think it's from like the 1920s. So it's like super like low to the ground. So it's been kind of difficult to find like the right chair height for it, but it's absolutely beautiful. She painted it this like white, and then like the actual like tabletop itself, she did this like black, and it still has like the original mirror with all like this like etching all over. It's beautiful. But because of that, I want pretty products to sit out on it. So I wasn't this person before. I went and bought a jade roller, which like I've obviously used jade rollers before, but like I never had one of my own, and I was like, that's just gonna be like really pretty, but now like I actually use it,
right? Because it's sitting on your vanity.
It's sitting on my vanity.
It's so true, because I have a vintage little perfume bottle, and I had a vintage powder. I don't know where that is. It's like it was in silver. It needs to get redipped, and they look beautiful sitting out. So you want those beautiful things. And I even like it in my medicine cabinet, even if it looks clinical.
Yeah.
But it's in my medicine cabinet, so it looks like really chic. And you're kind of like, ooh, that looks like.
And then you can take a selfie.
Yeah, you can take a selfie. That's the 20-something in you coming out that you think of a selfie. But yes,
that's
indeed.
like a thing. That's like a huge
you're right.
hashtag.
Yeah, it is. It is a huge hashtag. And it is really fun because I love seeing other people's vanities and counters. And I always look at mine. We're thinking about redoing part of the house. And so we've been talking about the bathroom, and the boys think I'm crazy.
I bet.
Because I know. I'm like, so I want heated floors, and I need this kind of lighting. And oh, by the way, I want 3 shower heads because I want a rain one, but I want to be able to turn that off because I have curly hair and I don't always get my hair wet. So I need the wall ones. Yeah. And then, for sexy time, if I want to have like, someone in the shower with me, right? And then I want to have a big bathtub that is not part of the shower.
No, it has to be different.
Has to be separate, because then I can have pretty bath products that sit. And I want lighting. Yeah. Again, this is where I was, like eyes were rolling. But I wanted lights that were on dimmers. Yeah. Because, you can't take a bath in full light. But I need to do my makeup in full light, which I've never been able to do. Having lived in New York for as long as I lived in New York City in my apartments, you never get to choose where your bedroom is or where the light is coming from. So I have learned how to do winged liner with the sunlight coming in this way and it being like pitch dark over here.
See, that's funny you said that because my
winged liner's off today.
No. Because my apartment is tiny. So this morning I have my big vanity. I do my skincare at my vanity, but I don't do my makeup at my vanity. So I have this little, I don't know, it's bigger than this. Okay. And I pick some of my products out of this today, out of my cosmetic bag I brought. But I have another bag that I bring to our living room. And I have this little ottoman that I leave it sitting out in front of my plants. Because you sing
to your plants.
Because I sing to my plants
she
sings to plants. But I do my makeup in my living room, facing my window. So it's just like this traveling bag of tricks that I bring.
It's true.
To where the better lighting is.
Way too lazy for that business. So, I have learned how to do half my face basically, because living in New York City, it was always dark, or I never had all the real light. In my bathroom, my most favorite apartment on 66th Street was a turn of the century walk up. I was on the 5th floor, and I had this bathroom that was old and really cool and had this but it had literally one light. And it was up here, and it was hanging down, you can't see it, but it was above my head. And so I just get this weird shadow light, whatever. It was awful. And it was small, so if I had to blow dry my hair, it was hot, and it was sunny, and it was summer, and it was muggy, and oh my God, it was awful. But so, if I get to build my own phenomenal bathroom, you
should get a Ricky.
Oh, I should get a Ricky. So those Rickies are, oh my gosh, I should get you're right. I could get a wall Ricky.
Yeah.
All right. So we should say what a Ricky is. So Ricky, tell everybody what a Ricky is.
Okay. So Rickies are these crazy.
Sounds dirty.
It kind of does. Rickies are these crazy mirrors. I think the brand's actually called Ricky Loves Ricky. I think is what the brand is actually called. Like that, But they have these beautiful lights. So that's usually what a lot of Instagrammers and YouTubers use. We have like little slim ones at the stores, which are a little more like travelable, better for like
countertop.
Every day. Yeah. But they have these like 10 settings of light. They can connect via Bluetooth to your phone, so it can take selfies for you. It also has this little like magnetic clip that you can clip your phone onto, so that way, like if you're watching a YouTube video while you're doing your makeup and following a tutorial, or you're making a tutorial, maybe you're starting your own YouTube channel.
Imagine the boys going into the bathroom and then standing in front of a Ricky to brush their teeth. It's the best image
I can see
ever.
I can see it, but maybe
I can see it. I can see it too, and it seems like a recipe for disaster. All they do is roll their eyes at me.
But
that's all they do.
Maybe I feel like boys always have those crazy eyebrow hairs. Maybe it would help.
Do you think they even care? I'm not sure.
Maybe they would see it. Maybe they'd be aware for the first time ever and be like, wow, Kathleen wasn't lying to me.
I do need to trim that nose hair.
Yeah, it is sticking
that
way out.
single nose hair that keeps coming out. No, I know it is really true. I hadn't really thought about a Ricky. That's something that I don't have to actually confess to. I can just show up with and say, oh no, we're just doing this about the vanity.
Yeah.
But then again, I couldn't do like a beautiful antique mirror, which is my problem because I want to live like I live at Anthropologie. Oh. And so I like to do those. All do. I know. And so I always want to do those vintage mirrors that are all speckled, which is also P.S. what was always in my bedroom where I do my makeup in half light. Yeah. So I also have the speckly background. I don't know if that's a freckle. Is that a speckle on the mirror? Is that me? I'm not entirely sure. It's too dark. I don't care. It's 6:30 in the morning. So yeah, the Ricky's an awesome idea. I have to just decide if I want to be that cool and modern or if I have to still live like I'm at Anthropologie.
There is also these things that I've just seen that they're little, like it's not the Ricky, but like they're just little things that have suction cups, like lights that have suction cups on the back, and you can line any mirror. And then you can connect. I've seen smart ones that you can connect to your phone. So if you want to change, like, oh, I want red mood lighting, maybe while you're taking one of your bubble baths, you can change it.
I could change it. Or I could just get the Ricky Slim and have it in the drawer on the counter. Yeah. Because I keep asking for these crazy things. Like, I love it when, like, in a hotel, you pull the drawer open and there's like a plug. Yeah. In the drawer. Then you can plug always have your
curling iron
hot. Yeah. Like, whatever. I've realized I have to like dial back on my expectation because the boys just look at me like I have lost my bloody mind. Which is really funny because, you know, for this clean beauty standard that we're talking about, it's funny because I have to test product all the time. You have to test product up, right? We're always trotting home with like a wardrobe of products. And I just have been trying a men's product line on the overly male in my life. And he actually likes it. And it is clean and very simple.
Yeah.
I find that is his tipping point. He doesn't care if it's clean. I mean, he kind of does. Like, he likes the fact that it's doesn't feel tacky or synthetic or gross. Yeah. So he appreciates that. But he doesn't want to hear about it. Like, if I'm like, oh, and then there's this and there's that, he's like, whatever, I don't care. There's CBD, I don't care. So he doesn't really care. But what he does care about is if it gets overly complicated. Yeah. Like, he literally asked me what the difference between an exfoliator and a cleanser was. And a serum. Oh, by the way, and a serum. Because there was this like little pack of things. And he was like,
which one do I use first?
He didn't. He's like, and I said, well, I was explaining exfoliator versus cleanser. And I lost him. He threw everything on the bed and was like,
and I think that's funny you say that, especially like the simplicity thing. I think like, and I don't want to make men sound simple. but
we're women and we're on this podcast, so we can do that.
But jars of creams also seem like impossible.
Really?
Yes. Okay. So, like,
it is true. They're more like tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
squeeze it, squash it.
My boyfriend, he doesn't use any lotion. He will like put his cocoa butter on his face, and I'm like, okay, we need to change a few things.
Esthetician me has a problem with that.
So I left a Heoma eye cream there, which is like one of my favorite things. But that
was nice of you.
I know, it was really big of me.
It was. That's my favorite eye cream right now too.
But the other day we were FaceTiming before like I came into work, and he was like, oh, I'm doing my skincare routine. He's like, aren't you proud of me? And I see he took a huge scoop. Like, I swear it was probably like half of the container of eye cream. And I was like, how much do you think you actually need? They're your eyes.
Was he putting it on his whole face?
No, he's just putting it under his eyes. He's like,
Stop.
It takes a while for it to blend in. Like, I feel like, you know, it's a lot for my skin to absorb. It's too rich is what he was telling me. And I was like, you're using like a gallon under your eyes. That's why. No. So I think with boys, they need like a pump. You just take one pump. That's enough for your
Yeah, it is
face.
simple. Yeah,
it like it's a serving size. You just...
I mean, we have a lot of clients come in and they hide their product.
Yeah.
So one of our favorite clean products, that was my favorite story ever, was Le Prunier, which we're of course obsessed. And now Christy Teigen is obsessed, so no one can get it. Christy Teigen broke their supply chain. So no one can get this product. And it's an amazing, clean plum oil. It for your skin, it's absolutely the bomb. Mm-hmm. Is that out of date to say the bomb? I don't know. Maybe
a little bit, but
it's okay. But it is. It's completely like an amazing product. And she broke the supply chain, so we haven't had it in a couple of months, and everybody's crying.
Oh, we get calls like daily, all the time, weekly, at least on it. Yeah.
But the flip side is it is an amazing product, and it is super simple to use, and it's great for everybody. So we had that couple come in. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. And they had their own bottles, and she went through it faster than he did. And so she would take the dropper from hers and get some out of his and refill hers. So he thought he was going through it faster.
Yeah. Well, and that way too, she didn't have to be the one to be like, oh, can we go to that store
and get some more plum oil?
He had to bring it up and be like, hey,
I'm almost out.
Let's go get some.
Oh my God, that's the
so
best story
his
ever.
Idea. Yeah. I loved that. That was a really cute story.
That was really funny that it's not like they were fighting over one bottle either, which is really funny. Yeah, really funny. So we haven't done our product thing today. We have to talk about which product we like today. And you go first this time. What's your favorite thing today? What are you jamming on today?
Okay, so I feel like I have multiple answers. I'm really into like droppers.
Oh, you are into your droppers right now.
Anything that I don't know. So there's two. I guess I'll do the RMS one because I feel like I have like multiple uses for this one.
All right. I'm listening.
This is the RMS beauty oil. It has all sorts of
like the Baruti oil in it, right?
That
makes it kind of orange.
Yep, that's what gives it the color. Mm-hmm. And I love it for multiple reasons. I've been using it as my makeup primer. So I go through and I do my like whole skincare routine, and then I put like this on top of it. And it makes me this like crazy color because of like the orange to it. And I really do put on a ton of it. And then I take my like whatever foundation I'm using or tinted moisturizer and I just apply it right on top of it. And I just find like that by the time like the oil has soaked in, it also like soaks in a little bit of like the foundation too. And it gives me this like nice little glow.
So you don't mix the foundation with the oil first and then put it on? Because I've done that. I've mixed before.
And I use a crazy amount of this, which you can't really tell. I feel like it lasts forever, but I literally take like a whole like dropper full and put all of that on my face and down onto my neck. And then I also use it like we use the plum oil too. Mm-hmm. I take a few drops throughout the day, and actually I'll do it right now.
Oh,
do you want a little oil?
Sure,
dropper?
Hit me with some oil. I'll do what I'm always down for a little bit of oil on my face because I'm dry all the time.
So we always just take like 3 little drops right on our like ring, pointer, and middle finger, and we rub it in between our fingers. I'm gonna take off my glasses for this.
And this smells so earthy, right?
It smells so earthy. And then you just press it right into your skin.
Yeah, it does.
Like, don't rub because then you will get a little bit of transfer. But wherever you're dry, so for me, it's like right under my eyes where my eyes crease, up on my cheeks, and my forehead always gets really dry.
Because your eyes crease so much.
Okay.
Says the little old lady in the room. Oh my God.
But then you just press, and this is also beautiful on days where I want like a super simple look, where I might just do like a tinted moisturizer and like maybe a little like blush color, like a cream blush. I'll take a little bit of this and use it as my highlight.
Right.
Instead of applying like an actual highlight with like, because glitter doesn't look like glitter's really pretty, but like especially if you want like a tone down, it's not going to give you like a natural look. So this will give you like a nice glow. Right. And it just feels really good.
It does feel good. It actually feels good on my hands. My hands are really dry today.
I know, because it's like -12 out today.
Oh my God, it's the worst. We're in the Midwest, and so
it's always miserable here.
Yeah, we're coming for you, California or Florida or someplace not so cold. I guess my favorite is my ride or die Elia mascara. So I like
that too.
I mean, I actually like the RMS mascara too, but because it doesn't smudge. So when I'm being like having that like allergy day where I'm runny, I like that one. But this one is really my ride or die. And it's a newer mascara from them. When I say new, I mean in the past year. But what's so cool about it is it has the dual head. So the head of the brush has a curved side and it has a comb side. And the comb side is what you do second, and it really pulls your lashes out, and you get that really beautiful feathery look that is so popular right now, particularly with everyone doing like extensions and eyelashes and stuff. You can get that look, but with an actual mascara instead of having to, me and like, it takes me forever to put on false lashes because I don't have the patience. I really don't. I just want to slam them on and then they're crooked and whatever. So this gives me that like nice, like long, inky
defined
look, right?
Yeah.
Without having to resort to doing individual lashes or those like little feathers on the end. So I do love this mascara, and I think the price point is great. I remember years ago buying a $75 mascara that had like lash boost in it.
Yeah.
From a brand. And I mean, I was also in my corporate life and paycheck. So that didn't seem so bad at the time. It did seem ridiculous, but I was like, whatever. But this is a really great price point. The price point's under $30, which
is good for, I think, like
for a really high quality mascara. I think it's great. It's a fantastic price point, and it's clean. So it comes right off with soap and water.
I was just going to say that's what I love most about that mascara is like, yes, it gives you beautiful lashes, which is like great, but it's so easy to get off, and I'm not scrubbing my lashes because I hate that feeling after you scrub your lashes so much and then you like, they feel sore.
Yeah, and they feel sore. And they also like I've always had thin upper lashes. So I feel like because I spent so many years like scrubbing my lashes, it's not probably, it probably wasn't great for the follicles. It was probably really hard on my lashes. Yeah. So that is something. And we should also mention, because we're getting close to the end, we're doing Easter eggs every podcast. So we are going to repeat our Easter egg from last episode. And Amelia, tell us about our Easter egg.
So our podcast Easter egg this time is if you use if you use code podcast15, you'll get 15% off your next purchase.
Right. So the code is podcast15, all lowercase. Yes. Although I don't know if it matters. I think our system's okay.
Either.
But podcast15 will get you 15% off anything you purchase online
or in store.
If you come in and mention that code to us, we will also give that to you in store and give you that 15% off if you come in and shop with us. So we would love to see you either way.
And if you're like somehow listening to this podcast like 6 months later,
it'll still work. Yeah, we're going to leave this one open for a while. It'll be a one-time use, but it will be open. So check it out. And who knows, it might get turned off at some point. So if you're listening to this, I don't know,
like in the
epic future, maybe it'll have gotten shut off by then. But at least for the time being, we will have that. And we're going to keep doing some fun Easter eggs and some fun sales and some things.
I was just going to say, if you follow our like newsletter and subscribe to our newsletter, we always are sending out like different sales and events that are happening in the stores. Things, like we'll have a few, it hasn't been announced yet.
No,
we'll have a few gift with purchases our next or this Valentine's Day too.
We're doing some gift with purchase, and also Instagram, obviously, Facebook, and tune in to our podcast regularly because we are going to talk about all things beauty. We are the Beauty Underground. I am Kathleen,
and I'm Amelia,
and we are having so much fun having you guys into our beauty world, and we hope to see you again in a week.
Yes.
All right. See y'all later.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye.